Hi, this is Dr. Jeffrey Hanna at Atlas Health Australia. I'm going to take a little moment to describe one of the more challenging issues that people have if they have been to XYZ number of different practitioners, have had every kind of test that you can think of under the sun, but so many times the results come back as being, quote, normal. Now, I want to make a very clear distinction from the get-go that oftentimes when we're talking about normal, it's not really the correct term. More probably and more commonly, I think that the term that we should be looking at is common. So for example, it is very common where people have headaches. It is very common for people to have low back pain, dizziness, blood issues, arthritis, and all this stuff. All these things are very, very common, but they are never normal. So when people say, oh, I have my normal headaches, or I feel just as bad as I normally do, that is actually not normal. And so I want to do a little bit of a breakdown as far as what normal actually means when people are looking for pathology. I'm going to use the illustration of a blood test without putting in any actual numbers or anything like that to illustrate. So you know that if you go to your GP, your specialist, whoever, if they order you some kind of a blood test, it's going to have a certain range associated. There's going to be certain numbers and they say, okay, this is the quote normal range. And then in the normal range, it's going to tag if there is something that is either too high or there is something that is too low. So it'll say that the limit is between 5 and 10. If it's 11, it's too high. If it's 4, it's too low. Something like that. And then what they will say is, okay, this is the normal range. And they say, okay, your number is just fine. Now that's talking about things from a pathology standpoint. Pathology is to the point when you are dealing with full out disease, dysfunction, something like that. But what I want to illustrate is just because you are not at these two extremes does not necessarily mean that you are actually healthy. And it's because very, very often when we're talking about truly healthy, we're talking about a range that is like this. And in this space right through here. And so what you have is you have this entire gray zone here and here where it's not true blue pathology, it's not true blue disease, but in the same breath, it's not exactly as it should be either. And so when you're looking at blood tests or different things like that, what I would actually encourage you to do is to have a look and see, well, where do the numbers actually lie? Because they may be telling a more complete story. Let's say, for example, that you had 10 different kinds of blood tests, and each and every single one of them showed something that was in the quote normal range. However, if you looked at them and they were all showing up as being about here, or let's say that you had another one that was showing up as here. Well, that could be an indication that things are actually moving in a certain direction. And again, it may not be the full point of disease, but certainly it is not where things ideally would be when it is healthy. The reason this is important is because if we, as healthcare practitioners, are helping people the way that we believe that we can, that is that it is wiser to, if you can, prevent disease before you get there, rather than, oh, well, we're not going to do anything, and we're just going to wait till it gets to that point. That doesn't make much sense as far as I'm concerned. If you can prevent something from going all the way, it's much better to take that action. So your challenge, and you're going to have a lot of work to do if this is the case, but if you find yourself in that boat that I described in the beginning, you're dealing with something, you're not sure what's what, but quote, all the tests are coming back as normal, go through them and actually look at the numbers. And here's what I would recommend that you do. I'd recommend, and we're going to do this kind of as a basic bell curve, so something that looks like this, spanning this entire range. Find out what the numerical range is, and we'll say that this here is 25%, and that this here is 25%. I'm giving you simple numbers that you can work with. If you have blood test readings that are still within the normal range, but they are either in the lower quarter, so the lower 25%, or they are in the upper 25%, in your own notes, just simply make a little asterisk, put a little star there, and then you can look to see, do any of these things make sense? And do these things tell a little bit of a different story about what is going on in your body? And you can take those results, you can take them to your GP, you can take them to a nutritionist, a naturopath, chiropractor, anybody who actually looks at blood tests and say, okay, I know that we understand we're not dealing with the disease at something in this moment, but if we look at it from a trend over a period of time, could this be telling us a little bit more about what is actually going on, and then what we need to do to help you get back into that normal range, preventing disease before something comes about? Because again, very often, even though we're told that things are normal, it does not always mean that you are healthy. So, if this video has made sense, I hope you have enjoyed it. Please do leave us a few comments here. If there's somebody that you know who needs to check this information out, please do share this video with them. And if you're looking for more information in particular about how the work that we do in the practice may be able to help you, please do visit us at atlashealth.com.au, and you can also find us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. This is Dr. Jeffrey Hanna at Atlas Health Australia, reminding you, take care of your neck. It is your lifeline to well-being.